The smell of chalk dust still clings to my hands as I pack away the last stack of papers. Outside my classroom window, the sky is heavy and gray, like it knows what's coming. My students had left early, parents rushing to take their children home as rumors spread through the village. Tanks were seen on the highway. Soldiers moved through nearby fields. I've always been a teacher, not a fighter. History was my subject, wars of the past, dates and treaties, victories and defeats. I told my students that the mistakes of old could be lessons for the future. But now, those same mistakes march toward us with rifles and artillery. Teras bursts into the room, out of breath, cheeks flushed. My little brother, 16 and reckless, with fire in his eyes. "They're coming," he says. "Everyone's leaving. The militia's taking volunteers. We can't just sit here." I look at him, this boy who still has scars on his knees from childhood scrapes, who once cried when our dog ran away. "We're not fighters," I tell him, but my words sound hollow. He stares back at me, defiant. That night, the war arrives. The ground shakes with the first shell. I wake to screams, to fire in the streets. Houses burn like paper. In the chaos, I lose sight of Teras. Neighbors shout that the rebels are taking young men, forcing them into trucks. I run through smoke and shouting voices, but he's gone. At dawn, the town is rubble. My students' homes lie in ruins. The militia gathers survivors, handing out old rifles. They speak of defending the railway to the east, of holding the enemy back just long enough for civilians to escape. I see Taras' jacket lying in the mud, torn and blood-stained. No body. Just emptiness. Something inside me cracks. I sign my name on their list. The rifle they give me is heavy, unfamiliar. I sling it across my shoulder, feeling its cold weight, and watch as the trucks roll out with women, children, the elderly, faces pale, silent, resigned. Somewhere among them, I hope Teras is alive. But hope feels like a fragile thing here. As we march toward the front, smoke still rising behind us, I glance at my hands. Yesterday, they held chalk. Today, they hold a gun. And just like that, I step out of history, and into war. The first firefight is nothing like the stories. There is no glory, just noise, dirt, and blind terror. Bullets tear through branches above me as I press my face into the frozen ground, my hands shaking around the rifle. Serhi, the squad joker, is laughing, between bursts of gunfire. "Keep your head down, teacher," he yells, his teeth flashing white in the smoke. It's not bravery, it's madness. But somehow, his wild grin steadies me. Beside him is Alina, the sniper. Calm, precise, her rifle cracking like a metronome. Her face never changes, not even when the enemy falls. Later, I learned she lost her husband in the war's first months. Maybe this is her way of surviving. We push forward, step by step. My shoulder aches from the rifle's recoil. At some point, I realize I've hit someone, seen them fall. My stomach twists. Serhi slaps my back like I've scored a goal. "Welcome to the club." But that night, I can't eat. Every time I close my eyes, I see the man's face, or maybe I imagine it, because I never really saw it. Weeks blur together, marches through forests, nights spent in burned-out barns, battles fought for villages already half-empty. My hands grow calloused, my heart colder. Then, one evening, after a bloody ambush, Alina finds me by the fire. "They say your brother's alive," she says quietly. Teras. Fighters on the other side are talking about a young boy, fiery, talks big about freedom. For a moment, I can't breathe. Relief and dread twist together inside me. Teras is alive, but he's fighting against us. Later, Serhi leans close. "If you find him," he says, voice low, "you'd better decide quick, are you here for him, or for us?" The next mission gives me no time to think. We're sent to raid a supply depot deep behind enemy lines. Everything goes wrong, like in the old history books where plans fall apart the second boots hit the ground. Explosions, shouts, gunfire everywhere. I'm hit, searing pain in my side, and the world tilts. My rifle slips from my hands as shadows close in. The last thing I see before darkness takes me is a face. Tara's. Older, harder, but unmistakably him, pointing a rifle at me. And then everything goes black. I wake in a dark room, wrists bound, my side burning with pain. The air smells of damp earth and sweat. A voice speaks softly. You shouldn't be here. I know that voice. Tara stands before me, older, leaner, his eyes cold. The boy who once begged me to tell him bedtime stories is gone. You're fighting for the wrong side, he says. We're taking back what's ours. You're just being used, I reply. They don't care about freedom, only power. You're a pawn to them. His jaw tightens. Better a pawn than a coward. For days, he brings me water, food, silent, conflicted. I try to reach him, to remind him of home, of our parents, of the fields where we used to play. Sometimes his eyes soften, but only for a moment. Then I hear it, rumors of an attack. Both armies are moving toward the railway. Commanders plan to blow the tracks, sacrificing hundreds of soldiers to starve the enemy. I know Serhi and Alina are among them. That night, a guard unlocks my door. A young soldier, barely older than Tara's once was, presses a finger to his lips. Go, he whispers. I can't watch this slaughter anymore. I slip into the cold night, clutching a stolen pistol, heading for the depot where the explosives are kept. But Tara's is waiting. You can't stop this, he says, rifle aimed at me. I'm not leaving you here, I tell him. Not again. For a heartbeat, we just stare at each other, two brothers on opposite sides of a war neither of us wanted. Then the shot rings out. Tara's fires wide. I lunge, grabbing the rifle, knocking him down. He doesn't fight back. His eyes are wet. Do it, he whispers. If you think you're right, then do it. I can't. Instead, I set the charges, not on the tracks, but on the ammo depot nearby. The explosion rips the night apart. Fire rises like a second sun, and for a moment, the war stops, both armies stunned as their weapons vanish in a single blaze. When the smoke clears, Tara's is beside me, staring at the ruin. His face is unreadable. Weeks later, I find him again, this time in a refugee camp, gaunt and hollow-eyed. He survived, but he's no longer the boy I once knew. Neither am I. We sit together in silence, watching the ruins of a bridge in the distance. The war isn't over. Maybe it never will be. But for the first time in months, I let myself believe that one day, somehow, we'll go home. If home still exists.